So welcome to this class, and as we said when we met last, today we are going to look at some questions on calculus, that is functions, differentiation, and integration. So our first question is the question of December 2012. Question of December 2012. That's the one that we're going to have. Question of December 2012. Question number 1A. Question number 1A, which is on page 52. Good. So I hope you have read through the question that says Medicino Limited is a pharmaceutical company that manufactures two types of cough syrups, Lala and Salama. The total revenue of producing the cough syrups is given by that. TC and TL, we are given that. We are required to get the maximum profit Medicine Limited will get. So in handling that question, the first thing you need to come and say, for maximum profit, the differential of profit with respect to Q should be equal to 0. The differential should be equal to 0. In this case, profit will be equal to, obviously we know that profit is revenue minus cost. So you can see the total revenue, which is minus 38,400 S minus 36L squared plus 438 S squared plus 2 million. Now that is the cost function. You now subtract the total cost, which is 1 million, plus 4, actually it's minus, so it's minus, to you, 486 S square minus 324 SL, 324 SL minus 27 L squared. That is how we shall get the profit. So you now open the brackets and say pi is equals to minus 38 400x minus 36L square plus 438S square plus 2 million minus 1 million plus 486S square plus 324SL plus 27L squared. Now, this question is a case of partial differentials. It's a case of partial differentials that we looked at the other day. It's a case of partial differentials.
Yeah.
So let's put the right terms together. So we are going to have pi being equal to this S does not have a colleague, so it will remain on its own, so that we have minus 38 400S. This L square will join this one. So minus 36 plus 27 will be minus what? Minus 9 L squared. This S square to join this one. So give me 438 plus 486. $924. So plus 924S squared. Then these 2 million to join this 1 million, so that we are left with 1 million. We are left with 1 million. Then this SL, this S you already have combined, so this SL is on its own, so we'll say plus 324 SL plus 324 SL. So that is the profit function. That is the profit function. When you have gotten that, we will come here and say now, for maximum profit, I want to repeat what we had said here, because this was general, but now we can specify here that the differential of pi with respect to S should be equal to the differential of pi with respect to L, which is equal to 0. And remember, these are what we call partial differentials. Partial differentials. So let us differentiate the function with respect to S. with respect to S. We differentiate with respect to S. So this one here will be minus 38,400. This one does not have S, so it will become what? 0, that's what we said. This one has S, so it will be 2 times 9, 24. That will be plus what? 18. Is that so? When you multiply by 2, this one does not have S, so it becomes 0. This one has S, which is raised by 1, so we get plus 324L. Now, this one should be equal to 0, and you call it equation number 1. Then you come and say the differential of pi with respect to L. The differential of pi with respect to L. This one does not have L, so it becomes 0. This one has L, so you multiply by 2, we get minus 18L. This one does not have L, becomes 0. This one does not have L, 0. But this one has L, so we are left with plus 324S. You say equals to 0, and this is equation number 2. That is equation number 2. So these are simultaneous equations, and we can choose to remove L. We can choose to remove L. So we will say removing L from equations. From equations 1 and 2. Removing L from equations 1 and 2. This one, I can write it this way. I can write 324L plus 1848S is equals to 38,400. I hope you're able to see that. This equation, that these are assigned equal positive, then we reorganize. Then this one, I'm left with minus 18L plus 324S is equals to 0. Is equals to 0. Now we are removing L, and as you can see, the coefficients of L are not similar. When the coefficients are not similar, what we do, we multiply by the opposite coefficients. Just a minute. So we multiply by the opposite coefficients. So here I will multiply by 18, and here we multiply by 324. It's not a must, you take the negative sign, but if you wish, not a problem. But we normally recommend you don't carry the negative sign. It's always easier to work with positive. So now tell me 18 times 324. 58. That's 2L plus 1848 times 18. That 3264S is equals to 38,400 times 18. 691, 200. Just 200. 691, 200. All right. Kuja kwa hii ingine. 324 times minus 18. That then must obviously be minus 58. That's 2L plus 324 times 324. 104976S should be equal to 0. So because we are removing L, what we need to do is to add. Because these values are connected by the same sign. Sorry, by the opposite sides. When they are connected by opposite signs, you add. So this goes to 0. So we put here that 3,264 plus 104,976. 240S should be equal to 691,200. So from there, divide and tell me S is what? S then must be 5 units. Then you tell us substituting in equation 2. Substituting in equation 2, this one, takuja tuseme minus 18L plus 324 times 5 is equal to 0. So divide appropriately and tell me L is what? $90 units. So the question had asked us to get the maximum profit. Thus, maximum profit I will be equal to, we are going to substitute those values in the profit function. The profit function here, this one that we have derived. So we are going to say minus 38,400 times S. S is 5 minus 9 times L squared, that is 90 squared, plus 924 times S squared, that is 5 squared, plus 1 million, plus 1 million, plus 324 times S, which is 5, times L, which is 90. So work out that and tell me that would be how much. $904,000. Agreed? Okay. Agreed. The next question is a question of June 2013, question 1B. June 2013, question 1B. Now, never pick the first one. Okay, so the question says that an electronic company manufactures and sells is on page 51. It's on page 51, or the same page we were solving this other one. So it says that an electronic company manufactures and sells computers. The marginal cost in thousands is given by the expression MC is equals to X plus 50, where X is the number of computers produced and sold. Fixed cost amount to 500,000. However, the total revenue function is unknown, but the sales manager is convinced that the total revenue can be represented by a quadratic function. The sales manager gathered the following data on sales of computers. So you are told to get the profit function. Now, for you to answer that, you need to know that profit is revenue minus cost. So we must first of all look for total revenue function. Total revenue function, that is where we shall begin. Total revenue function. Now the question tells us that this function is quadratic in nature. And we said if the function is quadratic, then it will be written as R is equals to AX squared plus BX plus C. That is the format of a quadratic revenue function. As the format. Then we start substituting the values. The first one is 1650. 1650 equals X is 10. So 10 squared is what? 100. So 100A plus 10B plus C. And this one you call it equation number 1. Take the next one, that 375. Being equal to 25 squared is what? 625A plus 25B plus C. That is equation number 2. The last one is 4,200 is equal to 40. 40 squared is what? 1,600. A plus 40B plus C. That is equation number 3. From there, we now seek to remove C. So we say removing C from equations 1 and 2. Removing C from equations 1 and 2, I'm going to have 1650 being equal to 100A plus 10B plus C, that 375 being equal to 625A plus 25B plus C. Now these ones we subtract. So tell me now, 1650 minus that 375. Negative 1725. 100 minus 625 is negative 525A. And then 10 minus 25 is negative 15B. This one you call it equation number 4. You call it equation number 4. Then you say removing C from equations 2 and 3. From equations 2 and 3. You take that 375 be equal to 625A plus 25B plus C. Then 4200 is equals to 1600A plus 40B plus C. So this one, you say minus. Negative 825. This other one is negative 975A. And this one is negative 15B. So this is equation number 5. Then from there you say removing B. Removing B from equations 4 and 5. From equations 4 and 5, we have minus 1725 being equal to minus 525A minus 15B. Minus 825 is equals to minus 975A minus 15B. Now that these two are connected by the same sign, we add, we subtract. We subtract. Good. So when you say subtract, Kwanza minus 1725 minus 825, we are left with what? Negative 900. Huyu mwingine tunaachiwa positive what? 450A. And based on that, we are able to tell that A is what? Negative 2. Is negative 2. Then you tell us substituting in equation 5. Substituting in equation 5, we will have minus 825 being equal to minus 975 times minus 2. I put them in brackets. Then you say minus 15B. So I'd like you now to solve on your own and tell me B is what? So tell me B is what? $185. Then we proceed and say, substituting in equation 1. Substituting in equation 1, we will have 1650 is equal to A, 100 times A, which is minus 2. Plus 10B, 10 times 185. Then you say plus C. So again, solve and tell me C is what? Zero. Good. In almost 99% of the cases, C for revenue function will always be zero, because revenue does not have a fixed component. Thus, R will be equal to minus 2x squared plus 185x plus 0. Or you can ignore that 0. So we have gotten the total revenue function by deriving. We now need to go look for the total cost function. Total cost function. I told you there are 3 ways of getting a total. The first way, the total of anything. You can add goods. You can multiply, you can integrate. Yeah, you can integrate. Or you can even derive like what you have done. So what you have been given is what guides which method to use. So we are given the marginal cost function. So we will say that our total cost will be the integration of the marginal cost function. The marginal cost function that is given there is x plus what? 50 with respect to x. And this is what we call indefinite integration. Indefinite integration because we do not have limits within which you are integrating. Then from there, you do what we said, that it is x currently raised to power 1. You add back 1. You divide by the new power 1 plus 1 plus 50, which is currently x raised to power 0. You add back 1. You divide by the new power 0 plus 1. Then you add what we call constant of integration, C. Constant of integration, C. So this proceeds to become x squared out of 2 plus 50x plus, we said when you're dealing with the total costs, C is the fixed cost. So the fixed cost is going to be 500. Remember, the functions are in thousands. Even when we dealt with this revenue, it was in thousands. So that would be thousands. So that is the total cost function. From there, tuendelee tutafute total what? Total profits. Total profit function. So total profit function we know that pi is given as revenue. Revenue ndio hii minus 2x squared plus 185x. You subtract the costs. Subtract the costs. Now this one, we can write it as 0.5x squared plus 50x plus 500. So opening the brackets, we proceed and say, this is minus 2x squared plus 185x minus 0.5x squared minus 50x minus 500. And we proceed to put the right terms together. So this becomes what? Negative 2.5x squared. This 185, you join it to this minus 50, you are left with plus 135x minus 500. So that is the profit function. That is the profit function. Safari bado inaendelea because the question had required us to get what? Maximum profit. Maximum profits. As we have been saying, the differential of pi with respect to x should be equal to 0. We are looking for maximum profits. The differential should be 0. That is the differential with respect to x. Differentiate this function. Minus 2.5x squared plus 135x minus 500. The answer we get should be equal to 0. When you differentiate that with respect to x. So that becomes what? This becomes minus 5x plus 135 is equal to 0. So solve and tell me x is what? $27 units. 27 units. So at this point, Profit now will be equal to, you now substitute that value into our profit function here, which was minus 2.5 multiplied by 27 squared plus 135 times 27 minus 500. How much? 1322.5. Good. The next question is coming from May 2015. May 2015. Question number 1C. Is on page 43 in our past papers. Sometimes back, I had given you that question as an assignment, and therefore I will not read. I will just go straight to what I need to do. And that is to give us the total revenue function. Total revenue function. So in the total revenue function, revenue will be equal to, we have been given the price. And we know revenue is the selling price, so you're supposed to take the price 4.28 minus 0.005 Q. Now this one you multiply by Q. This one you multiply by Q. When you multiply by Q, it will open up as revenue is equal to 4.28 Q minus 0.005 Q squared. That is the total revenue. From there, you need to derive the total cost function. Total cost function. The question is exactly like this. I gave you the assignment to derive the function. So what you shall do, utaenda mahali ulijibu hiyo swali. Hiyo function ulipata, you come now here and integrate. kuja useme total cost is the integral. Hiyo function ulipata. Kama huku haifanya, you still have an opportunity sasa uende mpambane, urudi hapa, ufuate hii utaratibu, utafute total profit, ufike mpaka hapa. So hiyo swali mimi nimemaliza. So when I come back after the break, I will go to a different question. Okay, so that question finished. The next question on the line is a question of September 2015. Question number 1C. Question number 1C. is on page 40. Page 40. A firm has a linear demand function for its product. When the price of the product is shillings 220, the quantity demanded is 40 units. When the price increases to shillings 240, the quantity demanded becomes 30 units. In addition, the firm's marginal cost is that. Fixed cost is that. We're required to get the output that maximizes profits. So as usual, you need to know that profit is revenue minus costs. We have not been given the function for revenue. We have not been given the function for total costs. So how do we get the total revenue? Total revenue, like we have done with the other question here, it is the price times the units. So again, this question has not given us the price. So we have to derive. And we know that price is described using a function we call demand function. Demand function. So demand function, we say it is P is equals to A minus BQ. That is the format of the demand function. We are told this is a linear function. It's a linear function. We are told when the price is 220, the units that are demanded, they are 40. So 40B, that is equation number 1. Then when you change the price to 240, this is A minus 30 units, 30B. So we subtract as usual. When you subtract, 220 minus 240, you get minus 20. Is equals to what? Minus 10B. And therefore, B should be equal to what? 2. So when B is 2, we get 220 is equals to A minus 40 times 2. So tell me A is what? $300. So P is 300 minus 2. They have used X on Q. They have used Q. So Q. That is the demand function. So tumerudi kama pale tulikuwa kwa hiyo swali. So with that now, you proceed and develop the total revenue function. Total revenue function. So total revenue is the price 300 minus 2Q. You multiply by the number of units Q. And this becomes 300Q minus 2Q squared. That is the total revenue function. So we need to proceed and get for ourselves total cost function. total cost function. Now the TC is going to be the integral of the marginal cost function, which is given as 40Q plus 2Q squared plus 2 with respect to Q. So when you integrate this, it will be 40Q squared. You add back 1. Here you divide by the new power, which is 2 plus 1. It doesn't have square. Or it's just 40Q. Okay. So it's just 40Q. Then this is 1 here. And this is also 1 here. Like in 2Q square, 2Q has square. So 2Q square, you add back 1. You divide by the new power, 2 plus 1. Then plus 2Q, which is currently raised to power 0. You add back 1. You divide by 0 plus 1. Then you add C, the constant of integration. You add C, the constant of integration. So the TC here will now open up as this one. You divide, you get 20Q squared. 20Q squared plus 2Q cubed out of 3 plus 2Q plus C. C is the fixed cost. The fixed cost is 5. 5. It's 5. So we have the total cost. So from there now we can proceed and seek to get the total profits. Total profit function. Total profit function. So in the total profit pie, it is the revenue, which is 300Q minus 2Q squared. Now this one, you minus the total cost. The total cost is 20Q squared plus 2Q cubed out of 3 plus 2Q plus 5 plus 5. Open the brackets so that you tell us it is 300Q minus 2Q squared minus 20Q squared minus 2Q cubed out of 3 minus 2Q minus 5. When you open the brackets. And after doing that, put items together. So this 300Q to join these two, so that you are left with 298Q. Then this Q and this one to join, that will be minus 22Q squared The cube does not have mwenzake, so it is 2 cubed out of 3 minus 5. So at that point, we make effort now to get maximum profit. Maximum profit. So for us to get the maximum profit, we need to differentiate with respect to Q, this 298Q minus 22Q squared minus 2Q cubed out of 3 minus 5, and then we say it is equal to 0. The differential of pi with respect to Q should be equal to 0. So let's open those brackets. We will get 298 minus 44Q minus 2Q squared should be equal to 0. Is that okay? What kind of a function is this? Quadratic, good. So using quadratic formula, the formula is written as Q is equal to minus B plus or minus B squared minus 4AC the square root here. You divide all this by 2A. Divide all this by 2A. So this proceeds to become, in this function, the value of B is which one? The value of B is the one that does not have square, so it's minus 44. So minus 44, that becomes 44. Plus or minus 44 squared minus 4 times A. A is the one that has the square, minus 2 times C. C is the one that does not have Q, 298. So this one, we need to get the square root of it. And then the whole of this, you divide by 2 times A. A is minus 2. A is minus 2. So this proceeds to become 44 plus or minus. Give me what is at the square root. 65.7. You divide by minus 4. So this becomes 44 plus 65.7. You divide by minus 4, or 44 minus 65.7. You divide by minus 4. divide by -4. So the first one becomes -27.4 or 5.4. So because you cannot have a negative value for units, we will disregard this one and take the positive 5.4, which is around, if you round up to 6 units. Round up to 6 units. So I was saying that now that this is negative and this is positive, you cannot have negative units. So you disregard this one. So you can proceed with 5.4. But practically, remember this is a professional paper, it's not an academic paper. So you go for 6 units. But in case you end up with 2 positive values, because when you start with a cubic function, you see that it's cubic, 3 to the power 3, yeah? If you have a cubic function, there is a possibility that the 2 answers will be positive. If the 2 end up being positive, you don't judge on the basis of the size of the units, as in tuseme equal 27. Tuseme, when I have 27 units, I will have more profits than when I have what? 5 units. The surest way to avoid the dynamics of the economies and the diseconomies of scale, I don't want to get into that, but the surest way to avoid that is you take these 2 values, you substitute them in the profit function. So you work with the result. That will tell you which one is giving you the maximum results. Yeah. So this one now, we then say thus, or at this point, profit is equal to, profit function equal 298 Q. So it is 298 times 6 minus 22 times 6 square minus 2 times 6 cubed out of 3 minus 5. Sema ukipata unasema. Otherwise tukipoteana, no one will ever talk. $8.47. Positive or negative? $8.47. Haya, price, tulikuwa tumeulizwa price also. So price, you get it by substituting that value in this function for the price. This one that we had gotten as 300 minus 2Q. 300 minus 2 times 6. That is shillings. $288. Then N, which we called the price elasticity, we say it is given as P out of Q multiplied by the differential of P with respect to Q inverse. So P we know it is 288 and Q is 6. Multiplied by the differential of P. The differential of P. So what you need to do is to go where we had the P. This one, you differentiate it with respect to Q. This one. When you differentiate, you get -2. So this -2, you raise it to power -1. You raise it to power -1. You're getting -24. -24.
Excuse. I have a question.
Yes.
Will you mind explaining why are we getting the N?
Why we are getting the
N, the last function, N is equals to P over Q times.
You're asking how we are getting or why?
Why?
Why? In a very simple way, I will simply say it is because it has been asked. But from economics, now that you're doing economics, you know the meaning of price elasticity, the responsiveness of demand to changes in price. So that one you know. So for my case here, as a QA teacher, I'm only supposed to compute. But the details of the interpretations and the implications, those ones you do them in economics. Is that okay?
Okay.
Actually, this bit is a bit should be more in economics, because that is where now you'll be told what exactly this means. That's it. Huh? Or you don't do economics? Yeah, So the next question that I want us to solve is November 2015, question 2B. November 2015. Question 2B. Is on page 38. Page 38. The marginal cost and demand functions for Jazz Limited are given as follows. So we are given all that. We are required to get the profit function. So we do the same thing. And because now tumekuwa tukipanga, we can just go straight. Tuseme hivi, total revenue, we have been given the price function there. It is x squared minus 24x plus 117. So this one, you multiply by x. Multiply by x. And when you multiply by x, you get x cubed minus 24x squared plus 117x. 117x. That is the revenue. Total costs, we will integrate the marginal cost, which is given as 2x plus 16 with respect to x. So this becomes 2x raised to power 1, you add back 1, you divide by the new power, 1 plus 1, plus 16x raised to power 0, you add back 1, you divide by the new power, 0 plus 1, and then you add the constant of integration, c. This proceeds to become x squared plus 16x plus the fixed costs. We are told it is what? The fixed cost we are told is 39. So profit then will be x cubed minus 24x squared plus 117x. That is the revenue. You minus the cost, which is x squared plus 16x plus 39. Opening the brackets, I get x cubed minus 24x squared plus 117x minus x squared minus 16x minus 39. Put like terms together. When you put like terms together, this cube has no colleague, so it remains as x cubed. This 24 to join this one, so that we have minus 25x squared. This 117 to join this minus 16. so that we have plus 101x minus 39. Is that okay? Okay. So that is the profit function. So the differential of pi with respect to x. Let us differentiate this one. With respect to x, we shall get what? 3x squared minus 50x plus 101 should be equal to what? 0. Should be equal to 0. Using quadratic formula. Using quadratic formula, x is equal to minus b plus or minus b squared minus 4 is c. This one you get under the square root sign. You divide by 2a. So from this equation, the value of b is this one, minus 50. So when you make it minus, you are left with 50. Plus or minus 50 squared minus 4 times a. A is this one, 3. And c is 101. C is 101. So this one you divide by 2 times 3. So this is 50 plus or minus. Give me what is in the square root. $35.9. So this then becomes 50 plus 35.9 divided by 6, all 50 minus 35.9. You divide by 6. Mm-hmm. 14.3 all 2.3. So these ones you can make them 15 all 3. You can round them that way, or you can choose to proceed with these values the way they are, whichever you want. Now this brings out what I had earlier on explained. So we are not able to tell which exactly, and I told you don't just go for this one because it is the highest. You need to confirm it. It could be, it may not be. So you tell us when x is equal to 15, pi will be equal to. You now put 15 in the profit function that we had here. So you say 15 cubed minus 25 times 15 squared plus 101 times 15 minus 39. Negative 774. Then when X is 3, profit will be equal to 3 cubed minus 25 times 3 squared plus 101 times 3 minus 39. Positive 66. Thus, optimal production is equal to 3 units. So you can see when we are making fewer units, we have more profits. If you have done economics, then you should appreciate the issues of the economies and diseconomies of scale. So by the time you are doing 15, the curve, the cost functions have already taken the U-shape. The diseconomies. So profit negative. So at this point, the price, the result of the price function was this one, x squared. So it is 3 squared minus 24 times 3 plus 117. 117. So I think we have answered the question fully. Yeah. So that is now good enough for the functions. So from tomorrow now we start revision, because we are through with the syllabus fully. And my revision will be based on past papers. In class, we have been doing the old questions. So now from tomorrow, we start with the new ones. From the last sitting, going backwards up to where time will get us. So thank you so much. We hope to meet tomorrow.